Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner. I'm your host, Dorothy O'Dell, for this evening. Before we bring up our amazing guest, Don Hill, I just want to give a shout out to Owen Sharp with his book, The Great Flood of Bovenland, coming out November 1st for ages 3 to 6. If you have a 3 to 6 year old that is wanting adventure and definitely an educational piece, look out because this book is coming soon and it's a must for your children. Hey, I would even say it's a great Christmas gift. So stay tuned and we'll get you the link when it becomes available to us. With that, though, I would like to bring the amazing Dawn Hill to the show. Welcome, Dawn.
Hey guys, how are you?
Oh, we're just smashing over here,
Absolutely.
living in the land of the great.
What does everybody say? Living the dream.
Living the dream. Yes. Well, funny. That story there is what was the catalyst for me writing my first book.
Was it
So
really?
hey, yeah,
Awesome.
seriously.
That's cool.
My president of the company that I work for, he walks by me all the time in the hallways and he says, "How you doing?" And I said, "Living the dream." He says, "Yours or somebody else's?"
Ooh.
And I went, "Shit,
Yeah.
shit."
100%. You think if you ask 100 people, how many do you think would say that very thing? Are you living your dream or someone else's dream? I mean, I bet I'm going to guess easily 90% are doing someone else's dream, maybe without realizing it, like you, like, oh, yeah, I'm not really
Hmm.
living my dream.
Hmm.
And
You
why
know,
don't we? I mean,
well, and that leads the perfect segue to what we're talking about because
yeah.
you and I have come across a lot of people lately that are frustrated, that are feel like they're trapped, that
Hmm.
feel like they want to pull their hair out,
Yeah.
that are stuck in different positions that
Yeah.
they can't stand anymore. One or more area of their life is just like they're stuck and they don't know what to do. Everything else is perfect except for this one thing. Like my boyfriend or my husband drives me crazy, or my kids are driving me crazy, or my boss is driving me crazy, or the ladies down at the church group are driving me
Right.
crazy. And do you know this the difference? We can say everybody's driving us crazy, but the more we point at somebody else, it's more fingers pointing back to us, right?
Right.
So it's time, ladies and gentlemen, to take a look at what's really going on in your life and
Right.
being honest with yourself. Because I don't know about you, like for years I used to sugarcoat shit and put a band-aid on it, and
Yeah.
away we go.
Yeah.
We go to the next
Everything's
thing.
fine. Yeah.
Everything's fine. Husband walks in. What's wrong with you? Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bull.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so
Exactly.
we're here and we've got an amazing event coming up. So Don, you share what this
Okay.
amazing event is.
Well, that's exactly it. I mean, I think the most famous sermon, and I know every pastor's told it, is everybody is fighting all the way to church, fighting to get their kids dressed, fighting in the car, fighting between the husband and wife. But the minute they hit that church door, everything's fine. Everything's good. We're blessed and highly favored. But really and truly, we've got to peel that off. We've got to stop doing that because where's it gotten us? To those stuck places. Like, yeah, exactly. Or worse. I mean, you're worse off than you were because you didn't just acknowledge, okay, this sucks. Like, this area sucks. And because this area sucks, it's affecting everything else. Like, for example, today I ate bad and gave myself a really bad attitude. I knew not to do it, but yet it affected my husband and it's affected my productivity in my job, business, and all that. So, what we're about to do is we're about to put on I, I just it's epic. Just keeps coming to my mind. We're about to put on a summit in November on the 18th to help you get out of those stuck places. To first of all recognize that it's okay to be real, to be raw, to come into this place with all your junk. You don't have to be smiley. You don't have to touch the door and everything be fine. You literally can just come in here. It's on Zoom. Be in your pajamas if that's what you want to do, and let's just unpack it all and maybe just maybe we leave some of it there and we don't take it out with us. I had someone tell me when I was younger, when you walk in the doors of work, you can leave the issues of home. And when you walk out the doors of work, you leave the issues of work. So, but so many of us carry all the issues all the time. Like we are like that person at the airport that's got too many bags and didn't want to pay someone to help them. And so they're dropping things and things are spilling. And then this kid's got, cereal. And we're that person with our emotional stuff, with our family stuff, whatever it is. And it doesn't tend to come alone. I mean, I know for us, like if one area seems to be starting to blow up, well, it kind of feels like several do. You're like, oh, everything's rocking along. And then, oh, this kid issue, or oh, this money issue, or oh, this job issue. And it just seems like they combine, they like cluster, for lack of a better word. And so I think that's what we want to do. We want to help you uncluster it, unpack it. And maybe you'll just hear something that's like nuggets that are like, man, I just needed to hear that. And I've heard it before, but I needed to hear it again, because repetition a lot of times is what we finally get mastery of, but we also finally, it sinks maybe from our head to our heart, maybe something like that, where we just really needed to hear it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have speakers. Dorothy and I are going to speak, and we're just going to share from our hearts exactly what could help you. And I think she just popped up the link. So it's free to register. Absolutely no reason not to come. Just join and bring a friend or bring 10 friends, and let's just see what we can do.
Absolutely. And I love what you said. I heard that it takes 7 times for something to finally sink in. Like you have to listen to it, hear it 7 times.
Right.
And so, case in point, I don't know how many coaches I've had over the last years, or mentors, or friends that have said the same thing over again. And I finally got it, hearing it from somebody else.
Right.
And so I know without a doubt that the speakers that we are going to have on our summit are people that are going to speak life into you, and that are going to speak these things. And you're going to like, oh yeah, that's what she meant by that.
Right.
And see, we each may even share it a different way.
Right.
I was in I did a talk at a women's retreat 2 years ago, one or 2 years ago, I can't remember. Anyways, it was in Michigan, and we were sitting around, and my thing was, why do women not ask for what they want? We're afraid to ask for what we want. And I went around the room and I asked each lady, tell me 3 things. If I was your fairy godmother, what are 3 things that you would want right now, right? And a lot of them had a hard time coming up with with something, because they were either afraid to ask, even though it was a small intimate group. But like, that's a man's not afraid to ask. Like, he doesn't care, and he doesn't care if he gets it or not.
Right.
He's so cocky. He's just going to blow it off and whatever, right? Where we, as women, I think we have a hard time with that. And part of having the summit is like, man, to shed all that shit, right? Leave it back with the husband and the kids, or
Right.
or the whatever,
The garbage.
and the garbage, and calm, just for these 4 hours. It's 4 hours on a Saturday, and I promise you'll get something out of it.
Guaranteed.
Guaranteed you'll get something out of it. Not only that, we're going to have some giveaways. And for people that actually sign up, a friend that has their friend sign up, there's going to be prizes given. So on the form, it says, hey, if you've invited a friend, what's the friend's name, so that we can double check it, and then your name will go into a draw. Because we would love your support. We want to see you there, right? And let's face it, in this day and age, we need that camaraderie to come together. We need I've been speaking about camaraderie in the military world.
Yep.
But we
Community.
need it just as, we just need it in the civilian world as well. I talk veteranese a lot, so so it's nice to just talk amongst everybody. And hey, if you're a veteran, more power to you. Come and join us too. We would love to hear your feedback and
Absolutely.
your stories as well. There is going to be a panel discussion towards the end where we're going to have every speaker, you get to ask a question to, this to any of our speakers. So it's going to be a powerful 4 hours, and I can't wait really to see, you know,
It
the
is.
people
It's going to
formed.
be amazing, and I love the Q&A panel because when you register, you'll get an email, confirming that, and then at some point we'll be asking you if you have any questions. What's an area that you would like to get, something out of? What do you expect from the conference? That way we can customize it and make it a little more suitable for you. But yeah, also you could be thinking about, oh, this is a question I would like to ask, and if you're ready to ask it, you can just turn it in and we'll have it, and at the end we can just ask it to whoever we feel like, is best equipped to answer it. Or we'll have several people answer it so that you get several points of view. Because a lot of times it is that camaraderie, that community that's like, we bounce ideas off each other, we talk to each other, and then all of a sudden, like the solution comes, right? Like the solution is, it's been there the whole time, but it's just been covered up. And it's hard to see like the nose in front of your face, or whatever that saying is, you cut your nose off to spite your face, because
Yeah.
I think we do that a lot of times. And as women, you're right. We don't want to ask for help. I think a lot of that comes from unmet expectations.
Mhm.
And if we ask and it doesn't happen, then we're going to have another emotion. And we have enough emotions, and we have enough past traumas and crap to deal with. So just don't ask, just do it yourself. I mean, that becomes the motto, especially of
Right.
moms and wives. And it probably does of husbands too, honestly. They're just not as apt to be honest and share it.
That's funny that you said that, because we had a men's vulnerability session. I had 4 men come on. Um, one of which, his name was Drew. Maybe I'll have
Mhm.
Drew come on as a speaker to share the
Oh, that'd
men's
be
side.
awesome.
I'm going to ask him. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
So Drew had stated that, he has heard from his men that, hey, when men try to be vulnerable and open up, it's just like women can say, well, you know, they don't know how to deal with a man
Mhm.
opening up, because men usually don't open up, right?
Right.
And for if the worst thing that the wife could say to them is like, just man up or suck it up or
Mhm.
whatever, but she really doesn't know what to say.
Right.
And so it's just like, wow, a lot of different things coming together to
Yeah.
make the perfect storm. I call it the perfect storm,
Yeah.
right? And then, but when we have these discussions with our partner or with the person that has hurt us, it is the perfect storm, because you actually finally get to say your truth and speak it out,
Mhm.
right? We should
That's
be
right.
able to be adult enough just to speak it in the moment, but sometimes, I don't know about you, Dawn, but I've learned my lesson. If I speak out in the moment that I am angry, I'm
Mhm.
going to say something I'm going to regret.
That's
So
right.
I'm the type of person that will say, can we put a pin in it? Or I'll just like not say anything until I calm down and look
Right.
at all sides of everything, and then I'll say, "Hey, remember that conversation we were having the other
Yeah.
day?"
Yeah.
And have a decent conversation where we're
Right.
both not heated.
Right. That's such wisdom, and it's not something that I gained the skill of very early in life. I've probably only been doing that for like 3 to 5 years. Now we've been married 33 years, so we had a few of those heated years. But even recently, since we don't have a lot of conflicting moments, the other day something started, and I was like, "What?" Like I wanted to just fire right back, and I was like, "Wait a minute, this isn't going to get us anywhere. It's going to lead to that circle of nothing where we're
Yeah.
just making it worse and getting more mad and saying things like you said that you don't need to say, and they're hard to take back. Words are powerful. So I just stepped away. I think I even left. I think I actually went and did something for a while and then came back and said, "Okay, this is what I was thinking." And so we did that. But it was better, and it also didn't cause that blow up that everybody in the house has to deal with. Because if you were that child that's dealt with that, and then as the adult, you maybe perpetrated that, because we do that. I know I did that. Um, you recognize that level of tension that you don't really want to pass on anymore. There comes a point where you're like, life's too short to be continuing these cycles and patterns. And I think coming to summits like this coming together as a group. And what will be after the summit is there will be opportunities to come to retreats and come to intensive weekends where we can work on some of that, where you don't just go away with some notes and some nuggets and we hope you feel refreshed and refueled, but where you come away with actual skills and tools in your toolbox where you're like, okay, I can actually handle this situation better now than I could when I walked in the door. And that would be the goal. The goal absolutely is to give you as much value as we can in 4 hours, and we will pour it out. Everybody that's on the panel will give you everything they have and beyond. But the end goal would be for you to come back to another workshop or another intensive retreat where we do get together for 3 or 4 days and it's more in person. And it's like, okay, let's really lay that crap out and let's really leave it here.
Right. I love that idea. It's funny because I've been saying that I've wanted to host a retreat. I've been to an on purpose retreat before with the amazing Joanne Yuki. So Joanne,
Oh,
if you're
yeah.
listening, shout out to her. But and I have actually the amazing Carrie Stewart, who is in Oklahoma as well. He
Oh,
does
well.
yoga
Yeah.
retreats. So maybe we can do
Yeah.
some balance when we
Maybe.
put this together and have Carrie come.
Maybe
Uh,
so. I've always
I
going
don't
to do
know.
retreats. I did one for friends, kind of like a friends retreat, but it went so well. Like it was just, sometimes God just aligns things and everything just flows, and that weekend just flowed. And so I've always had that in my heart that I could facilitate something like that again and maybe do like massage or something to where everybody's getting a personal touch while they're, and then obviously having the time to, I would prefer nature settings that invite you to, to get out and do something,
Mhm.
walk the beach, climb the mountain, whatever, because I find that to be very grounding and helpful as well. So,
Absolutely. Nature is where it's at. It gets me
yeah.
back into my zen. Everybody says, Dorothy, why are 90% of the calls you take with walking? I'm like, because
That's
number
my
one,
thing.
I get my exercise, and number
Yeah.
two, I'm in my place, in my zone.
Hmm.
My zone of genius is being outside.
Yeah. Yeah. And mine is by water. Just
Yeah.
like today when I was stressed out, I went to the Y just to do like water walking. It's like, I got to get in the water. Like, I just need to stop everything, change my own attitude and mental space, and go walk in the water for 30 minutes. And I was better afterwards. So anything with water is always lakes, ponds, oceans, whatever.
And see, and it's good that you know that because you have a tool that you said
Mhm.
use right out of your tool
Right.
belt saying,
Yeah.
hey, I know, like I've become an overcomer and I'm
Yeah.
unstoppable because I've been through this and this is
Yeah.
what I use to get myself out of that, right? And
Absolutely.
sometimes we have to use more than one tool depending on
That's
what we're
right.
dealing with.
That's
um so
Sometimes we
we're
have to get that support. Sometimes there's just things you can't walk through on your own, and so having like your community that you do for some of the veterans, and whether it be a women's group or whatever it is, a church friend, a neighbor, just having that person that you can be like, I have one that I can text. And even if she doesn't get it right away, at least I'm processing what's going on. I can send an audio text, and she may not respond for several hours, but I'll feel better getting it out there and knowing as soon as she sees it, she will pray about it. She will respond if she feels like there's something she could have. But the level that we've come to is, and I think when we first make a friend, we always want to impress them. And so we always want to give them advice. But I
Mhm.
think this friend and I are at that point where it's like, we may not have any advice. We may literally just need to pray about it and let them figure it out between them and God, because a lot of times what I found, and I'm definitely in the past been an advice giver, people pleaser, whatever, fixer, is that it doesn't always fix it. And plus, it takes away the person's personal responsibility and empowerment in figuring it out on their own. And that doesn't always, that enables people rather than helps them. So, it's always good to have those spaces, but also people that'll say, okay, figure it out. What's next?
Mhm.
Just be the sounding board.
I hear that loud and clear because as a recovering people pleaser,
Mhm.
like we just want to fix everything, right? We just want to be everything for everybody. And that's not what people need. People, like you said, in order for them to take responsibility
Right.
and not be an enabler,
Yeah.
then they need to figure their shit out themselves.
Well, and everybody wants to blame the narcissist, but you know what? We create that if we're not careful by constantly enabling, constantly making excuses instead of taking personal responsibility for what we allowed, which
Mhm.
abuse is never okay. Toxicity is, never okay, but it takes two to tango. And so
Mhm.
if you've got a narcissist, you've probably got an enabler or a victim mindset or something, that needs to be dealt with. And there's probably legitimate traumas and things from childhood or other relationships. Again, we just carry all that baggage. We forget to set it down. We get out of this relationship. We don't, especially this generation, we get out of this current generation. They get out of one relationship, they're in another one within a couple months, and they never dealt with anything from the first one. So then they have this repeat and they don't understand it. I'm like,
Yeah.
but you just did this 3 months ago with someone else, and 3 months before that with someone else. And there's all that. There's just so much garbage that comes with that. So I
Yeah.
just think that we're afraid to be alone, men and women both. I mean,
Mhm.
somehow at least in the United States, it seems to be success is being a couple. And I mean, whatever kind of couple that is, but nobody wants to just be okay with being with them.
Mhm.
And that's what I think Scott and I have learned more than anything else is he has to be okay with being with him. I have to be okay with being with me. Now we can be great together, but if we're losing that, what is it called? Autonomy
Mhm.
and being just who we're supposed to be, that's when our relationship will start to suffer because one of us is pulling too much on the other one.
I love that you said that, and so totally true. Like we get into that, right? And I found myself in my own relationships doing the same thing. And I always had a rule though. I always had I had to have at least a year between
That's a
the
good one.
last relationship. And well, my last one before I met my husband, I mean, there was more than 1 year. It was I I don't know. I lose time and space.
Right.
So I think I want to say 10 years, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I lose time and space. I don't see myself age. I see everybody else age. And I'm in a time warp.
That's
And
interesting.
I know I don't get it. I'm weird.
That's
But
okay.
um yeah,
So
anyways, I
that's
know it
what that's
was
what
years.
that coming to the summit, hopefully take that 4 hours to invest in yourself. Be okay with
Yes.
just sitting with yourself. Yeah, you're going to
Mhm.
listen to speakers, but really you're going to just be able to sit there and journal little notes and think about it. If you want to pay for the replay, you absolutely can. The summit is free. The replay will be available at a low cost. But so even if you get distracted being with yourself, don't worry about it. Just grab the replay and you can watch it again. But just invest in you because that's the only investment you'll ever make that you'll get 100% return on it because you control it. Now,
Absolutely.
have I gone to conferences and not done anything with it? Absolutely. But, it's up to us. So I
Right.
have the potential for 100% return. And now I like speaking and doing things like this because I find myself more invested because
Yeah.
I really want to give value. But at the same time, as I'm talking, I'm like, oh, I really needed to hear that. Like, I have to go watch the replay.
Right? And I get that. It's so true. And okay, so I don't know, maybe this is another freakish thing. My dad always said he would never turn around and go back for anything.
Wow.
So I have never done that myself. And I very rarely go back and look at my videos.
Wow.
I
I
know.
didn't ever like watching myself on video, so I don't think I watch them all the way through, but I'm better at going back and at least reviewing them.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just something.
Yeah.
I don't, maybe I
Well,
need to
I
get over that.
mean, there's probably a lot of wisdom in not looking back and holding on to it.
Yeah.
I think there's probably some wisdom in reflecting, but getting stuck in the past is not going to do anybody any good. And I'm sure that's what he knew. Maybe
Yeah.
he watched someone, do that. And he just decided he wasn't going to do it.
Perhaps. That's something that's always stuck with me.
Yeah.
Kids forgot something at home. Oh, well, you're SOL, is what he would say.
Yeah. Yeah. My
and
mom
keep
was not a
going.
rescue mom. I mean, if we forgot something, she was not running it to school.
No.
And so with my kids, I did the one per semester. Forgot your lunch, forgot your homework, one time. You get one free get out of jail card. And then after that, you'll just have to take a zero or whatever. So my kids will tell you we're really hard parents, though. We were really harsh.
It's called tough love. It's called not enabling the shit out of your kids. And it's like
Right.
when you get into the big world, it's not like you can do that at your
Right.
job. So,
And they're successful now, which is awesome. But the funny thing is, I have 4 kids, and 2 of them parent a lot like we did, which I didn't expect. And 2 of them absolutely will not parent like us, which is what I exactly expected. So, but they haven't unpacked their stuff from when we were a toxic family. So I see a lot of things being repeated. And that's
right.
hard not to go, when you deal with your shit, this might get a little bit better. And
So,
I may or may not have said that to 1 or 2 of them in the last 6 months.
see, I love that.
Because
And
they
so,
trigger each other. And it's funny. Then they get mad. I'm like, do you see this? Like, stop.
right. Oh, well, and that's why I'm putting this up, the
Absolutely.
Confusion to Clarity Summit, November 18th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. So, what's it going to take to get you to unstoppable? Like we said, there's a lot of people out there that one or more areas in their life is they're just frustrated. They don't know what to do. They're on the hamster wheel of life. You know, come and get the golden nuggets. It's an absolute free event. We're not charging for the event. If you want the replay, we are charging for the replay. This will not, guys, this will not be on my YouTube channel, by the way.
Right.
This is something completely different that I'm associated with and doing. So if you think, oh, I'm just going to go on Dorothy's YouTube channel later, that's not the case, guys. This is an event where you're going to have to come. You're going to have to sit through it, dig through some of your stuff, or you can purchase the replay. But this will not be on any of my social media
Right.
pages or my YouTube channel or my Roku channel. So this is something completely different. So all you have to do is just go to this link right here. It's in the comments section, guys. Register for the event. The event is free to register for. And there's even a spot where if you bring a guest, your name will go into draws. We will be having prizes as well.
Right.
We will be having some speakers. I'm going to firm up a couple more speakers this weekend.
Okay.
I have a whole Saturday to myself this weekend.
Yeah.
So I will be between recording and between doing more on this. We'll get our speakers in line and we will have 4 action-packed hours for you guys. We'll have some fun, have some camaraderie, and we'll get you from confused to clarity and being unstoppable in all that you do.
Right. That's right. From stuck to unstuck.
Done. Yes, I love that. Stuck to unstuck.
Yeah.
And I want to give one last shout out to our sponsor of today's show, Owen Sharp, who has the book coming out, The Great Flood of Bovenland, ages 3 to 6, coming out November 1st, where all books are sold. So if it's Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever, get your copy. Great adventure book for your children and great educational pieces as well. So go check that book out. Get it for your kids and grandkids for Christmas and tell them Dorothy sent you.
Christmas is like 10 weeks away.
Hush.
I know.
I looked at the calendar at work today and it said at the end of October that there's only 62 days left. I'm like, shit.
I think yesterday someone this week started a 90-day challenge. So that must be there's 90 days left in the year. And I didn't think about that until they did it. And I'm like, this year just feels like it's flown by.
I know.
That's why we need to go to the summit and get ready for the next year.
That's right. We are going to prepare you and get you into a new headspace so that you can end 2023 amazingly and start your 2024 on a whole new level. So come out, join us November 18th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. And
All right.
Can't wait to see you there. And so have a good night, guys. Don't forget to be unstoppable in all that you do. And same time, same channel next week. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.